Bobby Cannavale. Please welcome Don Cheadle. And Jennifer Lopez.
The pleasure to introduce, because it was a pleasure and an honor to not only meet, but to portray a woman who poured her heart, her soul, and her blood literally into her children, teaching them that nothing is more important than family. Against all odds and obstacles, she rose, leading by example to show her children that they too could be unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, Judy Rose!
Thank you. I now have the privilege, the honor to introduce my son, Anthony Robles.
Just feel the buzz in the air. It's really wonderful just to hear such a warm response to the film. I saw the film by myself in a screening room, and after the film, I wanted to stand up and cheer all by myself. So I know how you're all feeling this moment. My first question is for William. You're a critically acclaimed editor, many of those films that have in fact played here at TIFF. What about this project made you decide this would be your directorial debut?
Well, it really comes down to my instincts, actually. I was looking for a few years to try and direct something, and when they brought me the project, it's just something, lit up in me. And then going to Arizona, like I said earlier, and meeting Anthony and Judy, and seeing what kind of person he was, it just felt like something inside of me said, this is the story I need to tell. And obviously, I made the right choice.
Absolutely, I think so. So many wonderful films that you've edited, and I think this is such an impressive debut, and I think all the audience here would agree this evening. Yes. Terrell, if you could speak to the physical scenes in the film were some of the most exciting and dramatic that I've seen. How did you prepare for the role physically? Was there movement training involved? Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yes. A whole lot, yeah. Funny, for about 5 months, I almost was like doing a 9 to 5, where my 9 to 11 was in the gym, 11 to 1 was on the mat with Anthony and his coach, 1 to 3 was movement training, and 3 to 5 was vocal training because of the Southwest dialect. So it was one of those things where it was like almost a Tour de France sort of prep sort of thing, not to brag or anything. But yeah, it was a lot.
Can you also speak to, this isn't your first time portraying a real person. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to work so closely with Anthony?
The pressure was real. As an actor, it is one of the most daunting tasks to portray somebody real, the pressure that follows, the justice that's needed to be done. So having him there at first was pretty terrifying, if I'm being honest with you, bro. But just after a while you see that Anthony's sitting there on set also kind of like a sponge, soaking everything in and learning. And so I think we just leaned on each other the whole time, and every time I looked at him, I'm like, how was that? And he's like, yeah, go. I'm like, all right, we good.
I do want to say that Jarrell did portray another real person and won the Emmy for it, and When They See Us. And if you haven't seen it, please see us. It's amazing. Please see it.
So I'm only gonna get roles where they're real life people. I don't want anything else. Just, that's it.
Well, we were really impressed with your performance, and I'll just mention that the Tribute Award for Performance is also, we're presenting at the gala at the festival to Jarrell, so congratulations. And Jennifer, this question is for you. What resonated with you the most about the character of Judy when you first read the script? And as well, once you got to know Judy, how did that impact how you portrayed her?
Well, it's funny. When I read the script, I felt like so many women, including myself, could relate to the struggles that she had gone through in her life. Yes. And the story, being a Latino story, being so inspiring, it was just something that kind of grabbed me, and I was like, okay, this is really, really interesting. But then when I met Judy, we met over Zoom, and I was like, I really need to talk to this person. You know, thank God they're alive, because I've played real life people too. I played Selena and Poochie, and I wasn't able to speak to them, obviously. And so this was a different kind of experience. And just talking to her, I realized that we were just almost the same person in a weird way, even though we were so different and we had such different lives. That at the core and the heart of who we were, at first we were moms. And beyond that, we had similar struggles. And, you know, I think it was my job really to help her feel safe. I think both of them, Anthony and Judy, to feel safe and kind of put this in our hands and trust us with all the information that they could give us, and know that we wouldn't misuse it in any way, but only use it to tell their story in the best and most beautiful way that it deserved, because it is one of the most beautiful, most inspiring stories I think I've ever seen on screen.
I really felt you just vanished into the role, and you brought such an authenticity, so it was really, really wonderful, and I can see the closeness. That was the experience. The relationship with Bobby, especially, you know, a very, very intense part of the film. Bobby, your character as Rick is a very complex character, you know, a very challenging character, but at the same time, I felt you brought such a sense of nuance to those films. Were there any scenes that particularly challenged you as an actor in this film?
Oh God, I don't know. They're just all so funny, aren't they? My scenes. It's just hard to really modulate really where to pitch the comedy in each of those. No, you know, I think any story. You know, look, I was so taken by the book. I was a mess when I read that book. I have 3 sons of my own. I think movies can be very powerful. You know, it's really hard. Like I said, there's 3 little boys I have at home, and it's hard sometimes to explain to them what perseverance means and commitment. And you know, I wanted to be a part of this movie. You know, I wanted to be a part of telling the story, and I think it's an element of the story, right? And I think it was, you know, there were clues in the script, you know, as to what this guy was, where he was coming from. You know, there's this flashback scene where he says, you know, it's more than I ever had. You know, it's his experience going to work every day, what he must have to see every day at that jail, and the terror he must feel for his own children. Those are just the things that, for me, you know, made it, sort of humanized him for myself. But I really enjoyed being with those kids. I just enjoyed the whole process. You know, we shot all those scenes in sequence at the beginning of the shoot, so it was, I just enjoyed being with those kids. You know, I approached it in a way that was a little terrifying for me, because I had to deal with these little kids, and so I just like talking to myself the night before the first day, going, okay, you gotta tell the kids that you're not really that mean. You gotta tell the kids that you got kids of your own, and you have to like let them see you as a human being. And then of course that all went out the window because the kids are kids, you know, and they're just fucking around. And I just feel like I was dealing with my own kids, and so it was. It's just a really comfortable set, and it was not as challenging as I thought it would be because I was working with great pros, you know.
Hey, what was so special about the film was, you know, so many wonderful, complex characters. Don, Coach is a really, really interesting character, and his relationship evolves. In the beginning, Coach is very skeptical.